Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of NASCAR Super Teams, Team Penske, 2010s through the middle of 24. Entering the 2010s decade, Team Penske was entering a period of transition. They even started full-time in the Xfinity Series after running a part-time schedule in that series over the last several seasons. Justin Allgaier was behind the wheel of the number 12 Verizon Wireless Dodge, full-time. His best start was first twice, at Nashville Superspeedway in the spring and Gateway in the fall. His best finish was first at Bristol in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 8 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 4th in final points. Brad Keselowski was behind the wheel of the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge full-time. His best start was first 5 times, at Las Vegas and Bristol in the spring, Loudon and Daytona in the summer, and Michigan in the fall. His best finish was first 6 times, at Richmond, Talladega, Nashville, Michigan, Gateway, and Charlotte. Overall, he scored 5 poles, 6 wins, 26 top 5s, and 29 top 10 finishes. And winning the 2010 Xfinity Series Championship. The team's flagship team in the Cup Series, number 2, was driven by Rusty Wallace for several years. Then, when he retired, Kurt Busch took over. Well, 2010 would end up being his final season behind the wheel of that number 2 Miller Lite Dodge. Steve Addington served as crew chief for that season for the team. His best start was first twice, at Las Vegas in the spring and Michigan in the summer. His best finish was first twice, Atlanta and Charlotte in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 11th in final points. Brad Keselowski was behind the wheel of the number 12 Penske Racing Dodge full-time. His best start was first at Loudon in the fall. His best finish was 10th twice at Martinsville and Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 top 10s and finished 25th in final points. Sam Hornish Jr. was behind the wheel of the number 77 Mobil 1 Dodge full-time. His best start was second at Texas in the spring, and his best finish was 10th at Loudon in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 top 10 and finished 29th in final points. At the end of the season, Hornish and the team parted ways as far as his Cup Series ride. But he did remain, loosely involved with Team Penske, at least on and off over the next few seasons. For the 2011 NASCAR Cup Series season, Penske changed their driving order, but kept the same drivers. Brad Keselowski was now behind the wheel of the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge full-time, with Paul Wolfe serving as the team's crew chief. His best start was first at Charlotte in the spring, and his best finish was first 3 times at Kansas in the spring, Pocono in the summer, and Bristol in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 10 top 5s, and 14 top 10s, finishing 5th in final points. Kurt Busch took over the number 22 Pennzoil Dodge with Steve Addington as crew chief. His best start was first 3 times at Kansas and Pocono in the spring and Michigan in the summer. His best finish was first twice at Sonoma in the summer and Dover in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 11th in final points. Now, as far as the Xfinity Series, Brad Keselowski returned to the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge for all but 5 races. His best start was first 4 times at Loudon and Nashville in the summer, then Richmond and Homestead in the fall. His best finish was first 5 times at Kentucky and IRP in the summer, Chicago, Kansas, and Homestead in the fall. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 5 wins, 14 top 5s, and 21 top 10s. Sam Hornish Jr. ran a part-time schedule in the number 12 Alliance Parts Dodge. His best start was second twice at Richmond and Michigan in the spring. His best finish was first at Phoenix in the fall. In 13 starts, he scored 0 poles, 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. Kurt Busch made a one-off start in the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge, winning the race at Watkins Glen. Parker Kligerman made 1 start in the number 22 at Bristol in the fall, starting 12th and finishing 9th. Alex Tagliani made 1 start in the number 12 Dodge in Montreal, starting and finishing 2nd. Jacques Villeneuve made 2 starts in the number 22 His best start was first at Montreal, and his best finish was third at Elkhart Lake. Penske and Busch parted ways at the conclusion of the 2011 season. And also, starting in 2011 in the Xfinity Series, if you were a full-time Cup Series driver, you could no longer run for points. Now, that following season in 2012, Penske again put Sam Horner Jr. in the Xfinity Series full-time in that number 12 Dodge. His best start was first at Watkins Glen in the summer, and his best finish was second 3 times at Indianapolis and Montreal in the summer and Kentucky in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 10 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Xfinity Series points. Brad Keselowski made 21 Xfinity Series starts in the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge. His best start was first at Loudon in the summer, and his best finish was first 3 times at Charlotte in the spring, then Loudon and Indy in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 11 top 5s, and 14 top 10s. Brian Blaney made 7 starts in the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge, and his best start was 8th at Dover in the fall. His best finish was 2nd at Texas in the fall. In 7 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s. Parker Kligerman made 3 starts in the number 22 Dodge. His best start was 5th, and his best finish was 7th, both coming at Chicago in the summer. Jacques Villeneuve made 2 starts in the number 22. His best start was 3rd, and his best finish was 3rd, both coming at Montreal. Now over on the Cup Series side of the team, Brad Keselowski once again was behind the wheel of the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge full-time. His best start was 2nd at Bristol in the fall, and his best finish was 1st 5 times at Bristol and Talladega in the spring, Kentucky in the summer, and Chicago and Dover in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 5 wins, 13 top 5s, and 23 top 10s, winning the 2012 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Now, as for the number 22 Pennzoil Dodge, that team began the season with A.J. Allmendinger behind the wheel for the first 17 starts, but after he tested positive for Adderall on a random drug test, he was released by Penske. His best start was first at Kansas in the spring. His best finish was 2nd at Martinsville in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 3 top 10s. Sam Hornish Jr. replaced Allmendinger in the number 22 for the remaining 19 starts. His best start was 4th at Dover in the fall, and his best finish was 5th at Watkins Glen in the summer. Finally, though, Penske had won a NASCAR Cup Series championship, although this was Dodge's final season in the Cup Series. At least they went out on top. Then in 2013, Team Penske made a switch back to Ford. Sam Hornish Jr. once again ran full-time in the Xfinity Series in the number 12 Ford. His best start was first 4 times at Chicago, Watkins Glen in the summer, then Kentucky and Homestead in the fall. His best finish was first at Las Vegas in the spring. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 1 win, 16 top 5s, and 25 top 10s, finishing 2nd in final Xfinity Series points. Brad Keselowski made 16 Xfinity Series starts, 15 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 48. His best start was first at Richmond in the spring, and his best finish was first 7 times at Richmond both races, Kentucky, Iowa, and Watkins Glen in the summer, Texas and Homestead in the fall. Overall, in 16 starts, he scored 1 pole, 7 wins, 10 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Joey Logano made 15 Xfinity Series starts, 14 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 48. His best start was first at Dover in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times, both races at Dover and Chicago in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 8 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. In the Cup Series, Brad Keselowski remained the full-time driver in the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first twice at Las Vegas in the spring and Loudon in the summer. His best finish was first at Charlotte in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 16 top 10s, finishing 14th in final Cup Series points. Joey Logano became the new full-time driver of the number 22 Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first twice at Michigan and Chicago in the fall. His best finish was first at Michigan in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 11 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, finishing 8th in final Cup Series points. Sam Hornish Jr. made 1 start in the number 12 SKF Ford at Kansas in the spring, starting 4th and finishing 37th. When the calendar flipped from 2013 to 2014, Team Penske retained the drivers that they had the season prior. They started their next development driver, Ryan Blaney, in more Xfinity Series races. In fact, he made the most Xfinity starts of all the team's drivers, with 14. 10 in the number 22 and 4 in the number 12. His best start was first at Iowa in the spring, and his best finish was first at Bristol in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 10 top 5s, and 13 top 10s in 14 starts. Brad Keselowski made 11 starts in the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. His best start was first 5 times at Phoenix in the spring, Kentucky Loudon and Watkins Glen in the summer, and Homestead in the fall. His best finish was first 5 times at Las Vegas in the spring, Loudon, Iowa in the summer, Charlotte and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, he scored 5 poles, 5 wins, 10 top 5s, and 11 top 10s. He never finished worse than 8th. Joey Logano made 10 Xfinity starts, 9 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 12. His best start was first 3 times, both races at Dover and Texas in the fall. His best finish was second 3 times at Atlanta, Dover, and Texas in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 0 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Michael McDowell made 1 Xfinity Series start in the number 22 at Kentucky in the fall, starting and finishing 8th. Alex Tagliani made 2 Xfinity Series starts in the number 22. His best start was first in the spring, and his best finish was second, both coming in the spring at Elkhart Lake. Now, the Cup Series division of the Team Penske was performing good as well. Brad Keselowski returned to his familiar number 2 Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first 5 times at Phoenix and Dover in the spring, Kentucky in the summer, Richmond and Loudon in the fall. His best finish was first 6 times at Las Vegas in the spring, Kentucky and Loudon in the summer, Richmond, Chicago, and Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 5 poles, 6 wins, 17 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing a solid 5th in final points. Joey Logano returned to his familiar number 22 Pennzoil Ford, with Todd Gordon as the team's crew chief. His best start was first at Las Vegas in the spring, and his best finish was first 5 times at Texas and Richmond in the spring, Bristol, Loudon, and Kansas in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 5 wins, 16 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney made his NASCAR Cup Series debut at Kansas in the spring, and then ran the fall race at Talladega. His best start was 4th, and his best finish was 22nd, both coming at Talladega. Juan Pablo Montoya made 2 starts in the number 12 Ford. His best start was 8th at Indy in the summer, and his best finish was 18th at Michigan in the summer. After a strong season in 2014, in 2015, Team Penske made another move to continue its expansion. They formed an alliance with Wood Brothers Racing's number 21 Ford. In the Xfinity Series, Ryan Blaney made 13 starts in the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. His best start was first at Dover in the fall, and his best finish was first twice at Iowa in the summer and Kentucky in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Joey Logano made 11 Xfinity starts, 10 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 12. His best start was first 4 times at Atlanta and Phoenix and Michigan in the spring, and Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was first 4 times at Phoenix, Bristol, and Talladega, then Watkins Glen in the summer. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 4 wins, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. Brad Keselowski made 9 Xfinity Series starts in the number 22. His best start was second 3 times, both races at Texas and Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was first twice at Kentucky in the summer and Texas in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Alex Tagliani made 1 start in that number 22 at Mid, Ohio, starting first and finishing second. The number 22 team may have had 4 different drivers sharing the driving duties, but they still won the Owners' Championship. As for the Cup Series side of the team, Brad Keselowski remained the driver in the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first 3 times at Darlington, Kansas, and Texas in the fall, and his best finish was first at California in the spring. Overall, He scored 3 poles, 1 win, 9 top 5s, and 25 top 10s, finishing 7th in final points. Joey Logano also returned to the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first, 6 times, both races at Martinsville and Richmond, Atlanta, and Kansas in the spring. His best finish was first, 6 times, including the Daytona 500, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Charlotte, Kansas, and Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 6 poles, 6 wins, 22 top 5s, and 28 top 10s, finishing 6th in final points. 2016 came after winning the Owners' Championship in the Xfinity Series the season prior. Penske changed crew chiefs, putting Brian Wilson in as crew chief of the number 22 Xfinity Series ride. Brad Keselowski, he made 15 Xfinity Series starts. His best start was first, and his best finish was second, both coming at Texas in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 5 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. Joey Logano made 13 starts, 11 in the number 22 and 2 in the number 12. His best start was first at Watkins Glen in the summer. Then he won both starts in the number 12 at Watkins Glen and Charlotte in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. Ryan Blaney made 8 starts, 6 in the number 22 and 2 in the number 12. His best start was third twice at Mid-Ohio in the summer and Dover in the fall. His best finish was also third twice at Mid-Ohio in the summer and Kentucky in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 0 wins, 4 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. Alex Tagliani made his final to-date Xfinity Series start, driving the number 22 Discount Tire Ford at Elkhart Lake in the fall, starting first and finishing 7th. Back on the Cup Series side of the team, Brad Keselowski returned to the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first twice at Pocono in the spring and Dover in the fall. His best finish was first 4 times at Las Vegas and Talladega in the spring, Daytona, and Kentucky in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 4 wins, 16 top 5s, and 22 top 10s, finishing 12th in final points. Joey Logano also returned to his familiar number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first 3 times, both races in Michigan and Martinsville in the spring. His best finish was first twice at Michigan in the spring and Talladega in the fall. 3 poles, 2 wins, 16 top 5s, and 26 top 10s. He finished second in final points. Next up, in the Xfinity Series season in 2017, several drivers shared the driving duties of the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. Ryan Blaney made 13 Xfinity Series starts, 11 in the number 22 and 2 in the number 12. His best start was second twice at Dover in the spring and Charlotte in the fall. His best finish was first twice at Charlotte in the spring and Dover in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 12 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. Joey Logano made 10 Xfinity Series starts, 7 in the number 22 and 3 in the number 12. His best start was first 3 times at California and Talladega in California and Texas in the spring, Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was first at Las Vegas in the spring. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 1 win, 6 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Brad Keselowski made 9 Xfinity Series starts in the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. His best start was second 3 times at Las Vegas and Michigan in the spring and Loudon in the summer. His best finish was first twice at Pocono in the spring and Homestead in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. Sam Winters Jr. made 6 starts, 5 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 12. His best start and finish was first, both coming at Mid-Ohio in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 3 top 10s. Austin Cindric made 1 start at Elkhart Lake in the fall, starting first and finishing 16th. Once again, Penske won the Owners' Championship in 2017 with the number 22 car. More of the same successful combination on the Cup Series side of the team, with Brad Keselowski returning to the number 2 Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first twice at Las Vegas in the spring and Michigan in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times at Atlanta and Martinsville in the spring, then Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 15 top 5s, and 21 top 10s, finishing 4th in final Cup Series points. Joey Logano also returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first, twice, at Phoenix. Then, in the spring, and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was first at Richmond in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 10 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing a disappointing 17th in final points. The 2018 season saw several drivers make Xfinity Series starts once again for the team, including Austin Cindric making 24 starts, 16 in the number 22 and 8 in the number 12. His best start was first 3 times. Iowa in the spring, Mid-Ohio in the summer, and Charlotte Road Course in the fall. His best finish was second at Mid-Ohio in the summer. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 0 wins, 7 top 5s, and 13 top 10s. Brad Keselowski made 5 Xfinity Series starts, 4 in the number 22 and 1 in the number 12. His best start was first twice, at Charlotte in the spring and Loudon in the summer. His best finish was first 3 times, at Phoenix and Charlotte in the spring and Darlington in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 4 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. Joey Logano made 5 starts in the number 22. His best start was first at Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was first twice at California in the spring and Watkins Glen in the summer. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. Ryan Blaney made 4 starts in the number 22. His best start was first twice at Texas in the spring and Indy in the summer. His best finish was first at Texas in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. Paul Menard made 4 starts in the number 22. His best start was second, and his best finish was 5th, both coming at Michigan in the spring. 1 top 5 and 4 top 10s. Now back on the Cup Series side, the team expanded from a 2-car team to a 3-car team, with the addition of the number 12 Ford with Ryan Blaney, full-time. Brad Keselowski returned to his number 2 Discount Tire Miller Lite Ford. His best start was second in Michigan in the summer, and his best finish was first 3 times in a row, as a matter of fact, Darlington, Indy, and Las Vegas in the fall. Overall, he scored 0 poles, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 8th in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney was behind the wheel of the number 12 Menards Ford, with Jeremy Bolins as the team's crew chief. His best start was first at Las Vegas and Pocono in the spring, then Texas in the fall. His best finish was first at Charlotte Road Course in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 1 win, 8 top 5s, and 16 top 10s. Joey Logano also returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first at Kansas in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times at Talladega in the spring, Martinsville, and Homestead in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 13 top 5s, and 26 top 10s, winning the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. That was the second NASCAR Cup Series Championship that Team Penske had won. After several years of having a rotation of drivers share the driving duties of the team's Xfinity Series rides, for the 2019 Xfinity Series season, Team Penske ran Austin Cindric full-time in the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. His best start was first 4 times at Kentucky, Mid-Ohio in the summer, then Bristol and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first twice at Watkins Glen and Mid-Ohio in the summer. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 2 wins, 14 top 5s, and 24 top 10s, finishing 6th in final Xfinity Series points. Several drivers made a couple starts apiece in the number 12 Ford. Ryan Blaney's best start was first, and best finish was third, both coming at Darlington in the fall. Brad Keselowski's best start was 9th at Daytona in the spring, and best finish was 36th at Texas in the spring. Joey Logano's best start was first, and his best finish was second, both coming at Chicago in the summer. Paul Menard's best start was first, and best finish was 4th, both coming at Michigan in the spring. As for the Cup Series side of the operation, Brad Keselowski returned to the number 2 Discount Tire Miller Lite Ford. His best start was first 3 times at Loudon in the summer, Michigan, and Richmond in the fall. His best finish was first 3 times at Atlanta, Martinsville, and Kansas in the spring. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 3 wins, 13 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, finishing 8th in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney returned to the number 12 Menards Ford. His best start was first at Phoenix in the spring, and his best finish was first at Dover in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 11 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, finishing 7th in final Cup Series points. Joey Logano returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first 3 times at Martinsville in the spring and Michigan and Daytona in the summer. His best finish was first twice at Las Vegas in the spring and Michigan in the summer. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 2 wins, 12 top 5s, and 21 top 10s, finishing 5th in final Cup Series points. A brand new decade began, 2020, and Team Penske decided to more or less leave their driver lineup the same as the season before. And why not? All sides of the team were finding success. Austin Cindric ran full-time in the Xfinity Series in the number 22 Moneyline Ford. His best start was first 3 times at Daytona Road Course in Dover in the summer and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was first 6 times, including 5 out of 6 races in the summer. Both races in Kentucky, Texas, Elkhart Lake, Daytona Road Course, and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 6 wins, 19 top 5s, and 26 top 10s on his way to winning the 2020 Xfinity Series Championship. Brad Keselowski made 1 Xfinity Series start in the number 12 at Phoenix in the spring, starting and finishing 4th. While Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolfe have been a proven, successful combination, Penske put Jeremy Bolins on the pit box as crew chief with Brad Keselowski in the Cup Series. His best start was first 4 times, and with both races at Bristol and Darlington in the spring and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was first 4 times at Charlotte and Bristol in the spring, Loudon in the summer, and Richmond in the fall. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 4 wins, 13 top 5s, and 24 top 10s, finishing 2nd in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney returned to his number 12 Menards Ford with Todd Gordon as crew chief for the team. His best start was first at Martinsville in the spring, and his best finish was first at Talladega in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 11 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 9th in final Cup Series points. Joey Logano returned as well to the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. But this season, he had Paul Wolfe as crew chief. His best start was first at Indy and Michigan in the summer. Best finish was first 3 times at Las Vegas and Phoenix in the spring and Kansas in the fall. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, and 21 top 10s, finishing 3rd in final points. The final season to date that Team Penske has ran an Xfinity Series team was 2021. The number 22 Ford with Austin Cindric returning behind the wheel full-time. His best start was first 11 times at Daytona, Homestead, Atlanta, Talladega, and Mid-Ohio in the spring, then Michigan, Richmond, Las Vegas, Charlotte Road Course, Martinsville, and Phoenix in the fall. His best finish was first 5 times at Daytona, Phoenix, and Dover in the spring, and Pocono and Indy Grand Prix in the summer. Overall, he scored 11 poles, 5 wins, 22 top 5s, and 26 top 10s, finishing 2nd in final points, in final Xfinity Series points. Then, back on the Cup Series side of the team, Brad Keselowski was behind the wheel of the number 2 Discount Tire Ford. His best start was first 4 times at Phoenix, Kansas, and Darlington in the spring, and first at Watkins Glen in the summer. His best finish was Talladega in the spring. Overall, he scored 4 poles, 1 win, 10 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 6th in final Cup Series points. This was the final season that Keselowski would drive for Team Penske. For the 2022 season, he would become part owner of Roush Fenway's Keselowski Racing and drive the number 6 Ford. Ryan Blaney returned to his number 12 Menards Dex Imaging Ford full-time. His best start was first at Darlington in the fall, and his best finish was first 3 times at Atlanta in the spring, then Michigan and Daytona in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 3 wins, 11 top 5s, and 20 top 10s, finishing 7th in final points. Joey Logano returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first at Martinsville in the spring, and his best finish was first at Bristol Dirt in the spring. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 10 top 5s, and 19 top 10s, finishing 8th in final points. Austin Cindric made 7 starts in a number 33 Verizon Ford. His best start was third at Austin in the spring, and his best finish was ninth at the Indianapolis GP in the fall. With the departure of star veteran driver Brad Keselowski from the team's driver lineup in 2022, it forced them to promote 2020 Xfinity Series champion Austin Cindric to drive the number 2 discount tire Ford full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series. His best start was first at California in the spring, and his best finish was first in the 2022 Daytona 500. Overall, he scored 1 pole, 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, finishing 12th in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney returned his number 12 Menards Worth Ford. His best start was first 3 times at Phoenix, Austin, and Richmond in the spring. His best finish was second twice at Talladega and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, he scored 3 poles, 0 wins, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 8th in final Cup Series points. Then Joey Logano returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first 4 times, both races at Darlington, Charlotte Road Course, and Phoenix in the fall. His best finish was first 4 times at Darlington and Gateway in the spring, and Las Vegas and Phoenix in the fall. Overall, Logano ended up winning 4 poles, 4 races, 16 top 5s, and 24 top 10 finishes on his way to winning the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Now, basically, the drivers' lineup remained exactly the same for the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season. Austin Cindric returned to the number 2 discount tire Menards Ford. His best start was second at Atlanta in the spring, and his best finish was 5th at Talladega in the fall. Overall, he scored 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s, finishing a disappointing 24th in final Cup Series points. Ryan Blaney returned to his number 12 Menards Ford. His best start was second twice at Gateway and Atlanta in the summer. His best finish was first 3 times at Charlotte in the spring, Talladega, and Martinsville in the fall. Overall, they scored 0 poles, 3 wins, 8 top 5s, and 18 top 10s on his way to the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Joey Logano returned to his number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. His best start was first twice at Las Vegas and Atlanta in the spring. His best finish was first at Atlanta in the spring. Overall, he scored 2 poles, 1 win, 11 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, finishing 12th in final Cup Series points. Now, as of July 13th, 2024, Team Penske again has 3 full-time teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. Each has a victory, therefore each team qualifies for the playoffs. We'll see the remainder of the 2024 Cup Series season how Team Penske will fare. So after spending 41 seasons altogether in the NASCAR Cup Series, Team Penske's stats are as follows: 2,478 starts, 142 wins, 659 top 5s, 1,108 top 10 finishes, with 163 poles, and 4 NASCAR Cup Series championships. As for the Xfinity Series ride side of things, in 19 seasons altogether, Team Penske scored 664 starts, 81 wins, 318 top 5s, 463 top 10s, 74 poles, and the 2020 NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship. Hopefully you enjoyed this 4-part episode of NASCAR Super Teams. Don't forget to nudge that like button and smash that subscribe button. Thanks again, and take care.